Alright guys, so this is going to be a tier list from yours truly. Let me start off by saying that each and every deck that I'm looking at here has been strong at one point or another, and I think still is strong in its own respect. However, in the current format, I think there is a level of tiers that you do need to give each deck. So when I put a deck into Needs More Support or a different format, I still think the deck is solid. It's just not solid right now. So that being said, I'm gonna go one by one here, and this is gonna be listed as dinos. We don't actually have like a UCT to represent dinos here, but without further ado, like, comment, subscribe if you are enjoying the vids, and let's get into it. So I think seeing branded and with the hits that you got after Post-Ycs Anaheim, I think Brandon got a significant hit because it can no longer lock people out. However, there are some, hooligan plays you can do with Branded still that can do turn skip plays. I will say Branded does need a good pilot in this format to do well. However, I will say it can still stay relatively competitive against certain decks, but right now it just needs a different format. I don't think Branded can shape up against all the non-engine that's being played from Ryzeal and Malice right now, especially with Shifter in Malice, and it's just not going to do well. And I'm going to use most of these matchups as a reference into Malice and Ryzeal because those two are, in my opinion, tier 1. Next up, we got Centurion. Now, Centurion's interesting because I had played this for a little while, and Centurion runs Bystials in a lot of their builds, or Kashtira, but Bystials are pretty popular. It has great synergy with the Synchro 12s, and to make Synchro 10s as well. And it hits Fiendsmith, So that's the positive side of it. Now, the downside of Centurion, it's pretty weak in the hand traps. It doesn't end on a great board if it does get hand trapped twice for sure, once sometimes. So, Centurion is going to be a tough one for me to rank high. I'm going to rank Centurion at tier 2 because also if you do know how to play against it, it's easy to beat. Now, Fiendsmith, Chimera, I'm going to list this as Fiendsmith Chimera because that's been the most popular list. I'm putting this in high tier 2. I don't think I've seen a ton of lists with it do well. It seems like it's hard to pilot. It does seem very fun, but I'm not gonna list it there or any higher than tier 2 because I think it's kind of the same realm as Centurion where it can be good if it has a great pilot, but not like that's the ceiling right now. I don't think it belongs in this range. I think Dinomorphia is there. I love the deck. It's fun, but it needs a different format. It needs some sort of time card, even if you play fast, the deck can be good, but not right now. Exodia, I think that one's tough, but I want to say tier 2 still. And Shifter, but like Shifter was its main advantage and being able to OTK better under Shifter than Tenpai. Yeah, I think tier 2 right now is fine. It's not a bad deck in this format by any means, but I don't think it's great. Fiendsmith, we're going to say this is like Fiendsmith cash control. I'm going to put this tier 1.5. It does kind of lose to Ryzeal Fiendsmith, although Fiendsmith cash control is very good still. I think it takes good resource management from the player in order to do well. I think Fire King is kind of here. No particular order. I think Flu is here. And these decks I'm putting here because, obviously they haven't gotten some support. Fire King has, but I just don't think Fire King is... I'll put Fire King here. Because it did lose an important card to make it Fire King Snake Eyes. However, I think, it's good. It's not bad. It's good. But without the Snake Eyes, the ceiling is significantly lowered, and it was already struggling against Ryzeal Fiendsmith, even when it was, OSS wasn't banned. So I think it belongs like kind of in this range here. Yeah, that's why am I playing Gimmick Puppet? Gimmick Puppet was broken with the field spell when it first came out, but after it got hit, it kind of lost its juice. But I will say if or not the field spell, but the extract monsters. If extract monsters get brought back to 3, we might see a resurgence of this, but I'd rather not because it's kind of I don't know. I don't think it's what the direction the game wants to go to. A Goblin Biker. Just because I haven't seen enough of it yet. I'm putting Goblin Biker there. I haven't seen any tops. Haven't seen anything from it. Ice Barrier. I know there's a German regional that was going on recently. I saw an Ice Barrier player. I love Ice Barrier. If you don't know, I play Ice Barrier. This is tough for me because I think right now in this format it's good. So I'm going to put it here. I think General Ryzeal solos a lot of decks right now. If you don't have the out, as well as being able to put up, a Toad plus Lancia plus, being able to play 15 non-engine. I think Ice Bear actually is decent in this format right now. It is a strong tier 2 deck. And be able to lock your opponent out of the graveyard. So a high pilot, maybe I put it here, but it does take a good pilot. So somewhere in this high tier 2 range. Pure Cash, I'd go here. I think it's just below the Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith Cash and Cash. I think Fiendsmith Cash is just better. Lab, I'm going to put here. I think it is in a good position. There's going to be some interesting tech cards, I think. Trap cards never go out of the game. I think Lab takes a good deck building skill and pilot in order to be in this range, but it is definitely in that range. Mouse, tier 1. I think Mouse belongs in tier 1. Can't really say much about it. It's one of the meta decks, and it's very good. It plays through Shifter. It doesn't need to play Shifter, but it has the option to. I think it's very strong. End boards can be kind of scary at times, and can put up a okay board through 2 hand traps. Has just a lot of good matchups. I don't know much about how that's doing right now with Ostinato and everything. I mean, it was short-lived, I will say. The fire burned bright but short. Memento. Memento, I think, is actually still pretty strong. It has a bad matchup into Shifter and Cash, so I'm going to put it here. Obviously because of Shifter. Though I will say the opponent doesn't draw Shifter. Memento's boards are crazy. They are insane. On to Mermaid Atlantean, and this is a deck I've been playing recently, and I've been loving it. I figured out my list, which I'll be posting a deck profile soon. But Mermaid Atlantean, I definitely think it's not tier 2. I think it's above tier 2, but on the bottom end or somewhere here, I think. I'm going to put it above Memento for now, like kind of right there. And the reason being why this is not because of my favorite deck, all right? It is my favorite deck for the time being, but the reason why I'm putting it there is because we've seen good players pilot this deck, such as Kamal and I think Lucas or Lucio, I think his name is, but he was at the Bologna, YCS Bologna. He got top, I think it was 16 with this deck. Kamal has won back-to-back, or top back-to-back regionals, and it just goes to show if a good player is playing this deck, it can do well, given the right list and the right play style. So I'm putting it there. The hand loop is crazy. Being able to just obtain hand knowledge turn 1 and rip the card that's going to interrupt you the most and just keep playing, right? The main theme of this deck is kind of take 2 resources away from your opponent, end on 3 interruptions, and just hope they don't have a third extender, right? I mean, like, you're going to see their hand anyways, so the idea is to play and establish a board after you see that. So I just think Mermaid Atlantean has kind of sneaky good, right? A sneaky good tier 1.5. I'm not putting it above these 2 because I think they're just more consistent, albeit more popular, but I think these two are just very strong. I'm putting these three kind of on the same plane, in my opinion. I know people don't think that, but this is like, I just think they're here because it takes less of a good pilot to have them there. If that makes sense. This takes a good pilot for it to be there. Anyways, Mimighoul. Mimighoul I haven't seen much of. I'm going to put it just kind of here. No particular order there. I don't know much about the Planet Link. I haven't seen it since Jess retired from the game. I don't know. Yep, that needs more support. Rescue Ace. Here? I heard it's going to be good. Like, it got better because of Lifter, but I haven't seen anybody play it on DB. I haven't seen anybody play it in person, so I don't know. I don't know where that's at. Ritual Beast, I think it's, and again, no particular order. I think it's just here, somewhere in tier 2. I think it could do okay. It's probably still not great. I might, I don't know. I'm not putting it in any particular order. I'm just thinking like, okay, it's somewhere above Mimighoul probably, but, somewhere in that range. Dinos, I think the support was interesting with Ryugi. Dinos is tough right now because Ryugi makes it bricky, but the end boards are solid. You can get to Varudris in under 5 summons and make your dinos unaffected with Misk. So I'm going to put it like tier 2. Sketchy, but tier 2. Ryzeal, obviously at the top. This is including Ryzeal Fiendsmith. Best deck. Everyone's playing for it. Most interaction, plays a ton of non-engine. Enough said. Salad will go there because I know some good pilots in my locals. Shout out to you, Kev. Snake Eyes, pure, probably just here. I think it kind of got hurt a lot with that ban list. Obviously, OSS. I don't think it's dead, but it's harder to make the bridge, I will say. I've seen some people at locals play it. Sprite, we're going to go tier 2 as well. Tenpai, funny enough, I think Tenpai is still 1.5. Unfortunately, I've seen some topped lists with like heavy Bestial package and just non-engine. And, I think, did the hits hurt it with Kaiman and Pydra hits? Yes. Or Chandra hits? Yes. But I don't think that the deck is dead, and we have seen that. Unfortunately, we probably will see it at some more events. The deck's still going to survive. It's going to be a little more fair. It takes a little more skill to play now, so not everyone can just play it. So maybe that's an upside. Maybe we'll see like skilled Tenpai players for once. It's going to be funny. So yeah, I mean, I played Tenpai for Post-Ycs Anaheim. I will admit that. But now that the Chandra and Kaiman hits are here, it's going to be a little more thinking on their part. Voiceless Voice, I didn't see Voiceless Voice at the Anaheim, and I've only seen it every now and then. So I'm just going to put it tier 2. I haven't seen it top anything really. White Forest, I'm going tier 2 because even though it is good, like White Forest Azamina, I haven't seen any tops. Ubel, I'm going to put Ubel like in this range, I think. I think Ubel, shout out to Barry. I touched with him a lot. Ubel is an interesting deck, right? Because with opening the Spirit Gates back at 3, I unironically, even though Phantom hit the 1, I think the deck is better because they didn't really need Phantom at 2. Now, did it hurt their lines a little bit? Yes, but with opening, I think it opens up more lines. It's harder to hand trap them, I think, with opening the Spirit Gates back in play. Especially with the field spell at 3 still. Yeah, I think Ubel's still a pretty strong pick. Can play under Shifter relatively well. I believe it can end still on like 3 to 4 interruptions under Shifter, which is really good. Yeah. I think Yubel is still a solid deck. And yeah, that's it, guys, for the tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really want to know what you think. I think these two are in a league of its own. And yeah, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, guys.